Imagine a garden bed designed exactly for seniors, waist high at 32 inches, just 3 feet across, built of rot-resistant cedar, and all for under $150 if you do it yourself. This is the heart of the perfect height elevated bed for seniors, where careful research shows that picking the wrong height or cut of lumber can make gardening harder, not easier, costing you comfort, money, and energy. Most guides skip the critical safety and prep steps, but overlooking one detail could mean struggling with back pain or wasted materials. So what's the actual blueprint for an accessible, durable garden bed? And what do you need to know before you even lift a board? Start with the numbers that matter most for comfort. The bed stands at 32 inches tall, which lines up right at the average person's waist. That means no bending, no stooping, and no aching lower back after a morning of weeding. The width is capped at 3 feet, so even with shorter arms, you can reach the center from either side without stretching or straining. Research shows that for most adults, a 3-foot span is the sweet spot, wide enough for rows of lettuce or bushy herbs, but still easy to manage for anyone with arthritis or limited mobility. Cedar is the material of choice here. It's naturally rot-resistant, so you won't have to worry about the bottom boards breaking down after a few seasons. Unlike pine, which might save you a few dollars up front but needs replacing every few years, cedar can last 15 years or more with little upkeep. That's less time spent on repairs and more time actually gardening, and cedar doesn't need any chemical treatment, so it's safe for growing food and gentle on hands. Building this bed yourself keeps the cost under $150. Even with today's lumber prices. That covers all the cedar boards, the deck screws, and hardware. If you were to buy a pre-made kit of this size in cedar, you'd likely pay twice as much, and you'd still need to assemble it. Doing the build yourself also means you can customize the length to fit your space, or add extra features like a tool shelf or a built-in trellis. Time-wise, plan for a relaxed weekend project. Most people can finish the cuts and assembly in 4 to 6 hours, even if you're working solo. If lifting boards is tough, most hardware stores will cut them to length for you. Just bring your measurements. That way, you can focus on the fun part, putting the pieces together and getting your hands in the dirt. Every decision here comes back to ease and longevity. The height and width are set for comfort and reach. The cedar holds up against rain and sun, so you're not repeating the project every couple of years. And by keeping the price in check, you get a bed that's both affordable and built to last. Next up is making sure you're set up to build safely and comfortably, with a few simple prep steps before any tools come out. Before picking up any tools, it's worth taking a few minutes to set yourself up for a safe and smooth build. Start by gathering your personal protective equipment. A sturdy pair of work gloves, safety glasses, and closed-toe shoes. If you use a hearing aid, check that it's secure before starting any power tools. Lay out everything you'll need within easy reach on a table or bench. This keeps you from bending or searching for items mid-project. If lifting long boards or heavy bags of soil sounds daunting, ask your hardware store to pre-cut all lumber to your measurements. Most stores will do this for free or a small fee, and it saves both time and strain. For moving materials around the yard or garage, a simple dolly or garden cart can make a big difference, especially if you're working alone. Even a lightweight folding hand truck can help move boards or bags of soil with less effort. When you're ready to start assembly, choose a workspace with plenty of light and a flat, stable surface. If you have a portable workbench or even a sturdy table, that's ideal. It keeps everything at waist height, so you're not working on the ground. For anyone with arthritis or wrist pain, a cordless drill with a low-torque clutch setting, look for models with adjustable numbers, like 1 through 10, reduces the chance of twisting your wrist. Set the clutch to a lower number for starting screws, then increase as needed for tighter fastening. Keep your workspace clear of cords and clutter to prevent trips or stumbles. Take breaks as needed, especially if you feel any fatigue or strain. If you use a walker or cane, make sure there's a clear path around your project area. Remember, there's no rush. Working safely and comfortably is more important than finishing quickly. Once you've got your gear, tools, and workspace ready, you'll be set for a build that's both enjoyable and safe. Begin by laying out the 4 sideboards for your planter box, 2 at 6 feet long and 2 at 3 feet. Stand them on edge and use clamps at each corner to hold everything square. This step is important for both strength and safety, especially since the finished bed will hold over 1,000 pounds when filled with wet soil. With the boards clamped, pre-drill 2 holes at each corner, about an inch from each edge. Pre-drilling helps prevent splitting, especially with cedar, which is a softer wood. Use 3-inch exterior deck screws to join the corners. Tighten each screw until the heads are just flush with the wood. Don't overdrive or you risk stripping the hole. Next, flip the frame upright and check for wobble on your work surface. If the frame rocks or feels uneven, adjust the clamps and retighten the screws. For added stability, attach a diagonal brace across the bottom using a spare piece of 1x2 or 2x2 cedar. Secure the brace with 2 screws at each end. This step helps prevent the bed from racking or twisting once it's loaded with soil and water. If you're building solo, take your time with this part. Moving a large frame can be awkward, and clamps make it much easier to keep things steady. Now it's time to add the legs. Stand each 4x4 post at the inside corners of the frame, making sure the tops are flush with the upper edge. Pre-drill through the frame into each leg, then drive in 2 4-inch lag screws per leg for a solid connection. If you want to be extra careful, add a washer under each screw head to spread the load. Once all 4 legs are attached, give the frame a gentle shake. There should be no wobble or flex. If you notice any movement, double-check your screws and braces before moving on. For beds longer than 6 feet, consider adding a center support leg on each long side. This small step makes a big difference, especially when the bed is fully loaded. Elevated beds can weigh over 1,000 pounds when wet, so it's worth the extra effort to make sure your structure is rock solid. Before lining or filling with soil, double-check that all fasteners are tight and that the bed stands level on its legs. You're now ready for the next stage, lining and preparing for soil. Line the inside of the bed with 1/4-inch hardware cloth before adding any soil. This step keeps out burrowing pests like moles and voles, and also helps the wood last longer by allowing water to drain without letting soil escape. Use tin snips to cut the hardware cloth to size, then staple it tight along the bottom and up the sides. Fold the edges under so there are no sharp wires exposed. Over that, lay down a breathable landscape fabric. This fabric holds the dirt in but still lets water drain through so your plants won't get waterlogged. Make sure the fabric overlaps at the corners and goes up the sides by a few inches. This keeps soil from sneaking out when you water. For the soil, use a simple mix: 1/3 compost, 1/3 peat moss or coconut coir, and 1/3 perlite or coarse vermiculite. This blend stays loose, drains well, and gives roots plenty of air. For a standard 3x6 foot bed that's 11 inches deep, you'll need about 16 cubic feet of soil, which is roughly 8 2-cubic foot bags. Pour in the soil mix, fluff it up with your hands or a trowel, and level it out. If you want to save money or lighten the bed, you can fill the bottom third with clean sticks, pine cones, or old potting soil before adding your fresh mix on top. Just avoid using anything that might rot too quickly or attract pests. Now for the fun part, planting. Start with easy crops like lettuce, spinach, bush beans, or herbs. These grow quickly and don't need a lot of space. Make shallow rows with your hand, drop in seeds, and cover them lightly. For transplants, dig a small hole, set the plant in, and gently firm the soil around it. Water everything well, but don't flood it. If you want to make watering even easier, lay a drip irrigation hose on the surface, weaving it between your rows. Attach it to a simple timer at your spigot. That way, you can set it and forget it. Your plants get a steady drink, and you don't have to wrestle with hoses or remember to water on hot days. A quick maintenance tip. Once a week, check for weeds or any leaves touching the soil. Pull weeds early while they're small, and trim lower leaves to keep air moving around your plants. This helps prevent mold and keeps your crops healthy. Every spring, top off the bed with an inch or two of fresh compost to keep the soil rich and productive. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more DIY garden tips, simple recipes, and ways to make outdoor living easier at any age. Drop your questions or favorite plants in the comments below. There's always something new to learn in the garden. Happy planting! Today we built a cedar garden bed at a 32-inch, 81-centimeter height, matching ergonomic guidelines published in Senior Accessibility Studies. The final cost came in under $150, using pre-cut cedar boards and common hand tools. Research from the CDC and AARP confirms that raised beds at waist level can ease back strain and reduce fall risk for older adults. However, there is still limited long-term data on how different soil mixes or irrigation systems affect bed durability and plant health over many seasons. What is clear from the evidence shown is that careful planning, like choosing rot-resistant cedar, following a 3-foot, 0.9-meter maximum width, and using hardware cloth for drainage, directly improves both accessibility and safety. The build methods demonstrated here reflect current best practices, making it possible for more seniors to garden confidently at home. As the number of older gardeners grows, this approach offers a proven, practical path toward continued independence and healthy living.